Hi, my name is Ricardo, and today I'll be talking about the most common A/B test mistake. Well, you might be wondering what is the most common one, and in fact, not having a proper assessment to run an A/B test, would consider as one of the main mistakes that one can make when planning and considering to run an A/B test. Unfortunately, more often than we would like to admit, companies are just like running A/B tests because they are good ideas. However, they forget to pre-assess whether those good ideas can be proven right or wrong, and therefore, in my opinion, ends up like creating frustration because they will not be achieving results that they look for, and furthermore they will also be just getting frustrated because they might be wasting really good ideas which they won't be able to prove them right or wrong because they didn't properly pre-assess the A/B test basically. So let's take a look how we could possibly avoid those mistakes, and it's not that difficult, but of course does take detaching from the personal feeling about those ideas and properly assessing whether the idea can be run or not. So if we take a look here on the Sparrow website, we have the A/B test calculator. And well, of course, we have two modes that we can use here: the test analysis, which can be used once the test is done, and of course, we also have the pre-test analysis, which is what I'm talking about today. Well, for that, we just need to be filling some of the information, the main information basically about our test, or even before the test about our website, so that we can have an idea whether this test will be possible to be run or not. So if we look over here, we need, of course, the weekly traffic, which is based on users or sessions. We will have the weekly conversions. We will have to fill in like the amount of variants that we are running this test for, and over here it will, once we fill in the information here, it already will assess what is our baseline conversion rate basically. So let's work on some fictitious numbers here, and let's see what do we get. Let's suppose we are in a website which we have like 50,000 weekly sessions, and from those let's presume we would have like what a 2% conversion of that. So 50,000 we would be 100 conversion. Well, no, that's not correct. Would be 500 conversion. No, a 1000 conversion. Well, then we have a 2% there. All right. So from that, we will be running a test with two variants, and we have our 2% conversion. I think I could even have filled in over here. I think that would have been probably easier. No, it didn't work. You really needed to fill in here. So well, we have that amount of conversion. So we have 1,000 conversions out of this 50,000 weekly traffic. This is considering a confidence level of 95% and a statistical power of 80%. Let's see how changing those numbers here will affect that, for example. So, wow, okay, so this seems like not a very bad case scenario here, considering that we should aim like at the lowest MDE as possible because, well, the higher the MDE, the higher will have to be the change that we can get the user attention and interaction engagement basically to validate that idea. Therefore, the lower here, the less impactful it can be. But well, looking at the numbers here, well, most commonly every test will run in a period of like 4 weeks. And of course, if you're testing with a server-side solution, you could even go for 6 weeks because, well, it's well known that after 4 weeks is the time that users start more and more to delete their cookies, and therefore they could be getting a different experience. Um, All right, well, if we look here, well, for 4 weeks, 7.70% here with 100,000 visits or visitors. Well, doesn't seem like a bad number. And if you think like, okay, how do I know if that number is realistic? Well, of course, that will require you to know a little bit of your website, and of course, the depending on what is the change you want to make. As I mentioned before, the bigger the change and the more impactful the change, the more visible the change, the easier it is to get engagement from users, and of course, the smaller, yeah, the harder it is. But of course, here we have like for 4 weeks a 7.70%. That is with a confidence level of 95%. Some people would say, well, of course this is using mostly like a frequencies approach, and as we are not testing like a new it's not a pharmaceutical company testing any a new drug or something like that for user, some new medicine. Well, we can of course decrease like these numbers over here, so we can see like what would be the MDE like if we decrease to 90%. And if you are comfortable taking even more risks in the sense of like accepting that having a higher probability of error, you could even decrease it down to 80%, and then you see that the MDE like now is like 5.2%, so that is quite low, which also means that you could even reach something like that already with a shorter period of time, not even with the 4 weeks, but like perhaps with 3 weeks, or even I would say 2 weeks, you could already get something. But I would say the aim would be always to try to run for at least like a 4 weeks, so that we can get a reasonable amount of users, which will also of course like give more reliability to the data as well, because we include a higher a bigger sample size like to the test, of course. So, well, basically running this pre-assessment already should give you a very good idea whether this idea or this new hypothesis can be proven or not. So yeah, well, basically I would say by doing that you should already get some very good start for your test, and definitely avoid some frustration down the ladder, when running your A/B test. So I hope you like, and I hope you can yeah, be running many more pre-evaluation tests, and hopefully have many more successful tests. Thank you, and if you like the video, feel free to like, to comment, and to share. Thank you.